Well, this is part 2 of my garden tour, and I wanted to show you something real quick before I show you the rest of the garden. I was talking about the artichoke flowers in the last video, and there it is. You can see how pretty it is. Just a lovely looking thing. And there's quite a few of them set to come out. Bees like them. Here's that row of beans that I planted that hadn't come up yet, and there you can see they're all coming up, doing real well. They seem to like the heat. They are. Here's another look at my cucuzza squash, the Sicilian squash. You can see that the height of the plant has exceeded the height of the support structure. They're really getting up there, you can see. And in some places there are fruit bodies already coming out. If I can find one, I'll show you. Let's see. Oh, come on. How come this never works when you're expecting it? There's one. There's a little cucuzza, and it'll get much bigger than that. Let's see if I can zoom in and get a focus view for you. Right there. Pretty cool. So here's another look at my greenhouse. Since the last video, I've removed all the side, well, all of the side panels, because what I wanted to do was use this space. Since I wasn't using it for anything else, I've created two rows for planting. I'm not haven't decided what I want to put in here yet, but I think it's probably going to be some tomatoes and I don't know, maybe a squash. Who knows? Maybe some bell peppers or eggplant. I'm not sure. But that's that. What I've done is the soil was really hard and very compacted like this, and what I did is I soaked it the first day, and then I put some compost on top of it and soaked it again the second day, and then today I dug it up and I shaped it and watered it one more time, and I think tomorrow it'll be ready to sow some seedlings into. Here's a close look at my eggplant. I did a search on the internet to see if eggplants are required to be pruned, and I'm getting different ideas on that, so I'm not really sure. What I did do is I pruned out the suckers, because they throw out suckers like tomatoes do, so I took those out. I'm not sure now if I should have, but that's that, and we'll see what happens. I think I'll just let it grow and maybe do another look on the internet, see if I can get a definitive answer on that. Here I've got a bunch of peas. I'm not sure if they're sugar snap peas or just the regular shelling peas, and these are all volunteers. They sprouted just overnight. This over here is it's under my cactus tree, and it used to be my compost pile, and I just when I harvested my peas earlier this year, I threw all the plants that I pulled out into this pile, and apparently there were some seeds there and they've germinated. So I don't know if this is particularly a good time of year for peas. I think it's probably too hot, but I'm just gonna let them grow and see what comes of it. Here's a persimmon tree that I planted out probably 2 weeks ago. It's a Hachiya Persimmon. It's the soft variety, and it's the astringent variety as well. So if you pick it and try to eat it before it's ready to go, before the fruit is ripe, then it will pucker your mouth like you've never had your mouth puckered before. It dropped some of its fruit. It had about 15 fruit on it, and it dropped I don't know, about a half a dozen of them, maybe because of the stress of the transplant. But it's got some, and hopefully they'll last, and in the fall I'll be able to sample some of the fruit. And I'll just be thankful if the tree survives through the season. So here I have my shade structure, and I got it from this guy on Craigslist who bought it when a Target store nursery was closing down. I got a really good deal on it, and I'm really happy with it because I've got some 40% shade netting on it, and I figured that's gonna be enough to keep me comfortable and my plants comfortable. So it's 12 by 24 feet, and right now the sun's coming in, and you can see there's the unshaded part and there's the shaded part. It seems that the sun-loving plants and the flowering plants don't mind the shade, because here's my cucumber, and as you can see, it's got flowers all over the place, and there's a fruit even. There's a nice little cucumber. There's a few more buried down here. There's a pretty good sized one, I think, over here. So you can see all the flowers. It's just flowering like crazy. And yep, there's one. That's a pretty nice cucumber. They're kind of curled up, and hopefully they'll straighten out. That's a pretty nice one too. I can't wait to try them. There's little ones everywhere too. And I've got that on this this trellis net that I put up. I had a real hard time figuring out how to put it up, because the picture on the package shows that it's supposed to be horizontal and vertical on the wires, but no matter how I tried to turn it, I couldn't get a straight edge to attach it to the structure with. So I went with the diagonal, and that seems to work pretty well. I've got it here. I've got this wrapped over this, and then it comes down the other side, and then I tie it together with some twine, and that keeps it very, very, very taut. So here you're looking at my zucchini plants. I've got 4 in this bed. Here's one, and it's got some fruit, and it's got some flowers. Here's another one. They're doing really, really well. They enjoy this this amount of light, and what's nice about the shade structure is that I don't have to water as much because the soil stays cooler and stays more moist than it normally would in direct sunlight. And so do I, so that's a bonus. And so that's this planter. What you're looking at here is my seedling bench, I guess you could call it. It's really a rack that I put together. I just used some cinder blocks, stacked them too high. Then I used some yard timbers. I don't know what size they are, but they're pretty cheap. And then I think it was at Lowe's, I found this fence. It's actually a fence material that had some decorative edges on here, and I cut those off and turned this into a rack, and for $20 or so, it was a pretty good deal because I can get a lot of stuff on here, and it's a convenient place to keep my seedlings. So what I have here is some tomatoes. I've got some parsley. I've got some peppers. I've got an asparagus plant that I got from my friend who has an asparagus plant, and I took seed, so I started that from seed. That one's doing real well, and that one planted at the same time is struggling. There is a pineapple that I started from a store-bought pineapple, and that was months and months ago. There's another eggplant. Here's a perennial flower that I've had for a couple of years. And here I've got a grapevine that I also started from a cutting. There's one, and then here's another one. It's on its way, and those will be nice once they get bigger, if they survive. I wouldn't mind having those because you can make good things to eat from the grape leaves, as you use them as a wrapper, and grapes aren't bad to eat either. Alright, so coming over here, I forget what this is called. Oh yeah, it's a sago, it's a Cycad, and these were pups from two big plants that I have out front. So I have one here, and I have another one here, and here's the third. You can see it. And those were attached to the mother, and you basically snap them off and put them in a pot, and eventually they'll grow. They've been in these pots for a while, but I pulled one out, and it does have roots, so I think they might actually make an appearance this year. Over here, this is a lemon tree from a cutting from a lemon tree that I've had in this yard for probably 20 years, and it's doing very well. This is my prized lemon tree from planting, and I think there's a praying mantis right in there, and he's been living there for a while. I don't know if you could see him. Let me see if I could zoom in. Where'd he go? Yeah, it's horrible. I need to get a real video camera. Anyways, so here's some pepper. These are Pasilla peppers. They're supposed to turn brown and chocolatey, and they're real good for making mole. And this plant in a pot is loaded with them, as you can see. And this is my prize habanero. It'd be nice if it just gave me some fruit. It's got some fruit in there, tucked way in there, and they're real tiny. They're just really small. There you can see some. Okay, there they are. Really small. Let me pick one. Alright, so there you go. They're pretty darn small, but they pack quite a punch. So here's another table where I have some various cuttings and transplants and seedlings and stuff. These are oh, the dust and the wind is kicking up. These are strawberry plants that I got from some plants that I divided. They're doing okay. Got a few of them out of 2 plants. I think I made about 8 or 12. I've also got some little mini roses and some grass. And this was a persimmon cutting. I don't think that's gonna make it. It's probably dead. And here I've got a date palm, and it's actually growing. There's nothing there, but it's got roots, so the seed has germinated. And here's a Wheeler's dwarf, and here's some basil from some cuttings from another plant, and here's an asparagus in a pot. I didn't transplant this out like I did the other ones. And I've got various other things. I've got ginger root here in the shade. Hopefully it'll grow. It looks like it was. And I've got some ivy. I think that's English ivy from cuttings, and those are rooting, which is cool. And what is that? That is I forget what that is. Anyway, these are smoke bushes, which are really cool. They get ginormous, and supposedly they're real easy to root from cuttings. And I've got there's some what the hell is it called? Rosemary from seeds. I've got a few more. These are my little runts. And those are some bougainvillea from cuttings. Hopefully they'll root. And let's see, where are my other rosemary? Oh, here they are. Now those are doing better, and those are the ones I started from seed. That one, and that one, and that one's a cutting, and that one's a cutting. And this, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I think it's just a weed. It was growing in my vegetable bed, and if anybody knows what it is, please feel free to comment. Okay, so now we're back to the tomatillos. I wanted to show you the fruit in closer detail. See if I could pick one. It's got a very papery shell, and if you open it up, there is a cool little tomatillo in there, and it's kind of sticky, but these things make normally in the Mexican green salsas that you eat, that you're eating tomatillo. It's a very lemony, acidic, and very flavorful fruit. I almost forgot to show you, these are the zucchini that I picked from those plants. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 from the big plants and the big planters, and this one here is a little smaller, but that's not bad considering it came from a zucchini plant, which is in this relatively small pot. It's probably, I don't know, a 10-12 inch pot maybe, and the plant doesn't look so great, but as you can see, it does fruit well. I've picked probably 6 fruit off of this little plant, and oftentimes it dries out in the course of one day, so I water it every single day. I'll come out here in the morning, and the whole plant will be wilted because it doesn't have any water, and I water it, and then it perks right up and keeps giving fruit. So nice plant.